stocks which are buzzing around. Granules actually at the high point of the day. We have IDBI Bank as well, was lower on Friday's trading session, post its numbers, and now seeing a bit of short covering. But talking about Granules and the other pharmaceutical stocks which are a buzz today, the biggest of them all, we have Sun Pharma gains after the US FDA has classified its Halol plant as no action indicated. That means, or that rather that implies, a successful implication as well as signing an agreement with China medical system. Ekta joins us on the phone line with all the details. Ekta.
Thanks, Mangalam, for that. So like you mentioned, Sun Pharma is higher primarily because of the Halol inspection being classified as NAI, or no action indicated. So no action indicated basically means that the inspection was successful. They can continue supplying the product, and that approval should come through for the Halol facility. Now remember that the Halol plant is around 15% of the US sales, and in the past for Sun Pharma, they've had issues in that particular plant. They've had a warning letter which was eventually lifted. So the street is always a little uncertain about these kind of inspections for plants which have had issues earlier, and more so because many of the plant inspections that we've seen, especially in this year, have been, classified as official action indicated, or they have received warning letters. So the inspections in general have been tougher. So despite them receiving 4 observations, which were expected to be quite benign, I think the street is happy, or relieved at least, that the Halol plant is out of the woods for certain. Separately, just wanted to, for Sun Pharma, and, the other piece of news is the tie-up with regards to the Chinese market for 7 generic products. It's a long-term opportunity for Sun, but they're entering into the Chinese market like a lot of other Indian pharmaceutical companies because of the size of the Chinese market, the kind of penetration we've seen of generics within that market, and hence that's an incremental positive. But the big news for Sun today is Halol plant being classified as NAI.
Okay, all right. Ekta, thanks so much for joining in and filling us in with all those details on Sun Pharma. The markets, by the way, we have moved to the high point of the day. A couple of those heavyweights would be moving well. We have ITC that has a good weightage on the index. When that moves higher, it takes the Nifty with it. And HDFC as well. Well, it's up only around 1% odd, but half of that move has come just in the last, 30 minutes or so. And that's the one that's driving the Nifty higher. You can throw in the Reliance Industries as well. That stock is up close to around 1%. So some of these heavyweight stocks, they are batting for the bulls. And as we speak now, we're moving to the high point of the day.
Actually.
LNT as well?
Yes. So you spoke about ITC, HDFC and Reliance. We have LNT, which has now moved to the high point of the day as well. That too has a fair weight on the index. And again, like you said, 1.7% gains, most of that coming by in just the last few minutes.
And I think it's time for pizza, because you have Jubilant FoodWorks. That stock is moving higher. It's moving higher on large volumes. So from the broader markets, that's one stock that's catching your eye, up more than 3% odd. But the stock that's sulking in trade today is Ujjivan. The stock is trading weak after it filed a DRHP for its small finance bank. Abhishek joins us to fill us in with all those details. Abhishek, over to you.
Well, Nigel, as you mentioned, Ujjivan has filed a DRHP with SEBI to list its small finance bank. Now, the IPO is on offering of about 1,200 crores. The company may consider pre-IPO allotment of around 300 crores. That is as per the DRHP. The proceeds will be utilized to capitalize the small finance bank. One key alert is that, analysts believe that the fair value of the entity could be around 260 to 270. They are giving a 40 to 50% holdco discount to the small finance bank. So the small finance bank in itself is being valued at close to rupees 37 or rupees 39 per share. Now, managers to the issue are Kotak Mahindra Capital Limited, IFL Securities, as well as JM Financial. Just to alert our viewers as to why Ujjivan will list its small finance bank, any SFB as per RBI's regulation needs to list its bank within 3 years of operations. So, therefore, Ujjivan has to list its bank by Jan 2020. Let's hear out the management as to what they have to say about this.
One of the licensing conditions for all SFBs is to list the bank within 3 years of achieving net worth of 500 crores. Now, in the case of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank, that was already the case as soon as they started operating on 1st of February 2017. At this stage, obviously the minimum dilution which SEBI requires is 10%. So, it will be around that because it's just the draft red herring prospectus at this stage. RBI is reviewing the SFB incorporation and licensing conditions, because now I think that is a route which RBI is very keen to allow for licensing on tap. And if those conditions, which we expect to come out by the end of August, do have anything along the covering licensing issues on the listing, then we will look at that and see how that is to be addressed.
All right, so that was about Ujjivan Financial Services. The street worried that the holding company discount would increase. But Nigel, before talking about Ujjivan, you were talking about pizzas, etc. Maybe it's because it's a Monday, pizzas are not being consumed with any beverage, because United Spirits, that's the one that should come up for you, has seen a sharp knock from the highs up. I mean, it is up around just 0.25%, but very close to moving into the red.
It's high after the weekend, so that's why it's a little dizzy moving to the low point of the day.
Moving to the low point of the day, no buzz out there, but there are a lot of stocks which are buzzing actually. Anisha is standing by. Take us through all of those stocks. Anisha, what do you have for us? Definitely not pizza or alcohol.
Hi guys, good morning. Yes, I'm not having any of these FMCG stocks in my list, but to start off with DHFL, because that stock is moving 6 to 7% higher, as sources tell us that some of the lenders have actually approved the resolution plan, and now perhaps PE will be the ones which will be managing that particular company, so that stock is moving higher. For Titan, there is a sentiment uptick in the sense that they have increased their stake in CaratLane by around 2.8% to around 70% now, and they have paid around 100 crores for that. Not very meaningful for the company, but just a sentimental uptick. A total of 14 stocks which were there on BSE are now listed on NSE as well, and some of them are reacting positively to this news. Case in point being Force Motors, Waterbase, as well as SpiceJet. CCD has actually informed the exchanges about their debt situation. Now they say that post the sale of the Global Village, their group debt is down to around, will reduce by 2,400 odd crores, and they will be able to honor all debt obligations, and that's a positive news after the counter has been in consecutive down circuits for a while. Other than that, Sadbhav Group is in focus. Remember, they had announced the deal of probably merging the two companies, and since then both of these stocks have been in focus. CLSA has written a note on Sadbhav Engineering talking about how they have a buy rating because they like the focus on roads as well as the strategy of the company to churn capital. However, they have reduced their target price a tad bit. Back to you guys.
Yep.